I'm back. Yep. With another video on the phalaenopsis that called 911. Okay. First of all, this is take 2. Wasn't happy with the first one, so I trashed 20 plus minutes of video and I'm doing it again. Okay, so you can see that the bottom of the roots are green, which kind of helps this attempt a little bit. It had been put in the water for what I thought was the night, because it's still getting all-night soaks, opposed to the one that's on the red brick, which might get an hour soak. It all depends on what the roots say. As I told Miss Orca Girl years ago, she was talking about phalaenopsis roots and how to know when they're dry and need water, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, the different colors, like this silver white color. And, you know, if it's that color, it needs a drink. But if it's this green color, like they are down here, that's a saturated root, and it doesn't need a drink. Okay, so I put a comment on her video because I liked how she did it. I just simply called them talkative roots. They are. They're very talkative roots. If you can speak plant, then they're talkative roots. But you could probably guess looking at this video, green is wet, white, light colored, not wet. Yeah. Am I going to leave this out of the water for the night because, the bottoms of the roots are green? No. But you could. But I'm going to put it back because I'm comfortable enough that I know they can take more water. Would this get them through? Yeah, probably. But they can take more. They are hydrating much, much faster than when they were, pliable, I'm not sure that's the word. But you could really bend them. You could kind of fold them in half and they wouldn't break. People talk about watering their plants so that they can handle it without being as fussy about the root breaking. Well, clearly they're talking about probably even new roots. That they would be, let's swing around here real quick. They would be roots like this. These roots, they can break pretty easily. I bend it much more than that, and I'm risking it breaking. If I watered it, they say it, you could bend it a little bit more if it were to be watered and then bent. Okay. There might be some truth to that, but I don't know. Freshly watered roots versus, dry roots, healthy dry roots versus watered healthy roots. I'm not sure there's enough of a distinction there to really make one that you can bend them more without them breaking because, yeah, they're healthy, but they're watered, so you'll get away with a little more. The key word being a little. You want roots that you can bend and twist and manipulate? Yeah. Let them get completely dehydrated. You can practically fold them in half. your plant will look like this and not be healthy, but you won't break your roots. Don't intentionally let the roots get that wrinkled up and dried out. I mean, these guys were like paper. The plant was also dying. So, I don't know that there's enough of a difference between healthy, thirsty roots and healthy, hydrated roots. Either way, be careful with your roots is all I'm saying. But if they're completely dehydrated and papery, then you can get away with quite a lot. So, yeah, I think these roots can take more. But I took it out of the water because I need to take 2. And part of the video was showing the wire again. Because the first time I showed it, it was like the beginning of a project that wasn't done. It had the hook, and it had a couple of semi-deliberate bends, but then it just kind of trailed off like a snake and went nowhere. Well, I looked at the plant the other day, a couple of days ago, to determine whether it was ready to come out of the water, which I was pretty sure, I'd spent several hours. And it was. It was ready to come out. But it also had a problem. The plant was so low in the tank that water droplets were in this area here. All around the crown of the plant, ready to wander into the crown. Yeah, that's not good, is it? So, I took it out, set it on the tank like this so that it could hang over, like you may have heard that it wants to do in nature. Now, these hybrids, of course, have never seen nature, but that's how their ancestors grew in nature. So I was hoping that the water would run back out of the crown and dry up before it caused problems. So far, seems to have worked okay. But I needed to finish the wire project because, clearly, while it was technically doing the job, it needed to be finished because it wasn't doing the job well. So, thinking about how Rick L. would make clips, I attempted a clip. And you're not going to recognize it as a Rick L. project because it came out nothing like his clips. But here, if I can get out of my shirt, here is what resulted. And it works. Works pretty well. But here it is. You got your clip. This part is inside the fish tank. Probably why it didn't turn into a Rick L clip. His is for pots, not dangling plants in fish tanks. So that could be part of it. And then it goes down. And then it goes over, which this is the back part. It's on the outside of the tank, like you are when you're looking at your tank. And it goes over, and it goes back in the tank again. Now, this one's got an angle you can't really see. And here's your clip part. Goes up into your curled over tip, so that you don't hurt yourself on the sharp tip. So, yeah, if I can extend my arm far enough, that's what it looks like. You don't get all the angles quite right because video doesn't allow for that. But that's how it came out. Doesn't look anything like Raquel's clips, even though that's who I was thinking about when I started. And yeah, that was the inspiration of this thing, even though it doesn't look like any of his clips. So we'll give him credit for this, even though it doesn't look anything like what his would. The important part, and if he can still talk, not sure that he can, not entirely sure that he's still with us. Yeah. I hope he is. I hope he's doing well, but yeah, he's not making videos anymore, so that's a little telling. But that's what I came up with, and I'll give Raquel credit for the inspiration and wish him well. Hopefully he is doing as well as can be expected. So, I will set the video down and come back to you when I've got the plant in its clip in position. Okay, that's a little low. I may tweak it a little more when I put the phone down again, because that's a little low, but it's back in the water. And you see that there's the bit on the outside, the roots hanging down into the water. But I think when I put down the camera, I'm probably going to do a little bit of something, because that's pretty low. I don't want those water droplets getting back in the crown. But I am going to leave it in longer because, yeah, they greened up. But I don't, no. They can hold more, and I really don't know how to describe it. It's one of those things that you can't really convey on video. Kind of like forge welding. You may have seen Forged in Fire, where they make knives and other weapons, and then they test them beyond any reason that you would put a weapon through, and they declare a winner, because, you know, it's a contest. Now, you may see on there, you know, it's Forged in Fire. They put the metal in the fire, and it's pretty clear that they wait for it to get a certain color of glowing hot, and then they take it out and they work on it. Or maybe they take it out and put it in the oil and quench it. There's specific colors that they're looking for to tell them that the metal is at the right temperature. But don't try to learn that through the videos. You need a mentor to teach you blacksmithing. It is a dangerous art to try to self-teach. I don't recommend that you try to teach yourself that one. Now, learning to grow orchids in plants through the internet? Yeah, okay, you can do that. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You lose a plant? Well, what's the worst thing that could happen with forging? It's quite possible that you could lose your life. Unlikely, you know, serious injury, serious burns. But yeah, that's more likely. But seriously hurting yourself growing plants? Yes, it's possible, but yeah, definitely a lot safer. You want to call it an art? Yeah, go ahead. There's some art to growing plants, whether it be orchids or lucky bamboo or maybe purple passion. You know, I got a Christmas cactus back there. Yeah, I grow more than orchids. But getting back to this one, it can take some more water. I don't know that I want it that low. Still kind of thinking about it. But, yeah, I think we're going to take it not really out of intensive care, because I need not to miss a watering, and I need not skimp on its water. I mean, this leaf is now doing a pretty good job of holding itself up. This one here, getting more rigid. This one, to a point, hasn't gotten down here to the tip. Probably never will. That's an older leaf. But I am going to upgrade it. I'm going to move it up because I believe now, unless I let water in the crown and get crown rot, that this plant will be fine and it will grow that leaf that I said would be, you know, the trigger for the next video. Instead of a leaf, it's just that it's clear, this one's getting more rigid. I don't think it'll ever look, completely healthy. But between it being clear that water are getting into the two mature leaves and that baby leaf, which is what I'll call it. It's the baby leaf. The newest leaf is the baby leaf versus the matriarch leaf, which is the oldest leaf over here. That can help when talking about leaves. It really can. But the baby leaf was folded together as it came out of the crown. Well, and I'm not a scientist or anything, but I believe that the opening is allowed by the water pressure coming into the leaf. And it opens based on pressure. When it was completely dehydrated and limpy, papery limp, paper's not very limp, but when it was completely dehydrated and limp, it wasn't opening. I think it's water pressure that helps the leaf to unfold. Could be wrong. But it has, baby leaf, what's left of it, has opened. So, yeah, the water seems to be getting into the plant, and the plant is recovering. So it's going to get its upgrade, even though it hasn't started any growth yet. The roots have swelled up. They're not, completely wrinkled and dehydrated, and they've got this water thing going again. I had to soak them for several hours, overnight a couple of nights, but it's clear. They're not, they look like a white raisin, but they've swelled. And they're pumping water. And the water has naturally gone into the plant's leaves. So the upgrade will be to a whole number. 0 is for a plant that you're pretty certain is going to die. You might be trying, but, you're more convinced that it's going to die than live. Well, I am now to the point where I believe that if I don't make any serious mistakes, I will get the leaf and it'll live. So we're going to give it the whole number of 1.0. And as the leaf starts to come out, we'll start climbing those points and we'll work our way up, and at some point, basically when it blooms, that'll be when we move into 2. And, we're going to look at getting to like 2.5. At about 2.5, and this is give or take because the system works in my head. But applying the numbers to an actual plant, not as easy as I thought it would be to make sense of it all and, give it a reasonable reading that can be consistent. But I believe we're at 1, and that doesn't seem like you've accomplished much. You're at 1? Well, yeah, when it starts at 0 and it's a logarithmic scale, 0.0 is the plant that just died. You tossed it because, it's dead. All hope is gone. It hit 0.0. Its heart has stopped. Its brain has stopped. It's dead. Dead is dead. You know, nothing comes back from the dead. Not even in the world of Harry Potter. Nothing comes back from the dead. Well, I guess unless you're Voldemort. And even then, it ends with everybody believing Voldemort is dead this time. Okay. Maybe I should have said spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen the last Harry Potter video by now, you probably don't care that much. So, 0.0 being dead, 3.0 being you are the world expert. I'm at 1. Well, I'm not at 1. This plant is right now at 1. It used to be at 2 something, but now it's at 1. And with that, I will let you go. This video is pushing a half hour. Whoa. Yeah, I'll let you go, and I will talk to you next time.